right, welcome to Entertainment Distribution, and we are in week 3 already, guys. This week we're going to talk about your final project a bit. I'm going to give you some tips. And the first thing I want to start with, though, is industry news highlights. All right, so industry news highlights. First thing I want to talk about, I just want to mention the Grammys, right? We just had the Grammys on Monday, and wow, they're really good. Some really good performances and everything. Lady Gaga, for example, did David Bowie. That was fantastic. I think she did a really great job. You probably noticed there was some issues with the microphones, like the audio, when like Adele came on and everything. Oh my goodness, that was interesting. Music industry people, we always notice that type of thing. It was funny because I was on social media when Adele went on, and my social media, my Facebook started like blowing up with, oh my God, who's the audio person? What's going on? So I'm sure you noticed that. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is this right over here. This is the Nielsen 2015 year-end report. How fantastic is this? Let's go over a few things that have been going on. You can see the contents here. We have highlights and analysis, year-end music review, consumption charts, Billboard charts. They have a whole thing on Adele here. You can see radio, Twitter, social, fan insights, a lot of stuff going on here, streaming services. Just going to go over a few things here with you. Taking a look here in the year-end music review, you can see that last year at the Grammys, most tweeted minute of the Grammys is at 10:42 p.m. when 121,000 tweets are sent after Kanye West approaches the stage following Beck's win for Album of the Year. And if you ask me, Kanye, he's a brilliant, writer and everything. So being as intelligent as he is, I really believe that a lot of what he puts out there about his persona is very much a publicity stunt. Because look how many tweets he got, right? Just like James Franco and so many other of these really famous celebrities that are also super intelligent. I really believe it's just publicity stunts. But that's just my opinion. So let's see. Titles press launch, they mentioned that right there. They had a big pimpin' increase on streams. Oh, Record Store Day, so important. I hope you all go to Record Store Day. April 18th, this past year, the indie sector accounts for 532,000 album scans, or 22% of total physical album sales and 12% of overall sales, representing the highest weekly sales percentages totals for the indies since 2003. Wow. That is what, like 13 years later? Yeah. Wow. So that's wonderful. Back when I was when I was with Atlantic Records, and I had this one account out in Daytona, and that account, Atlantic Sounds, I remember I walked in one day, and all of a sudden he had like a whole another room attached into his store. And I was like, what is this? It was this huge room, and he had all vinyl in there. And he said, this is what's going to save me. And this was like probably around 2001, 2002. He was saying, this is what's going to save me. All the record stores are just going out of business. Nobody's coming in here much anymore. They're all going to Best Buy to buy their albums or getting them cheaper there. And that was because of loss leader pricing. And you guys, I hope, know what loss leader pricing is. That is when Best Buy, Target, all those bigger stores, they can underprice the albums under wholesale or at wholesale. So at the time, albums were selling wholesale cost was $12. So that's what the retail stores were paying, $12 for an album. And then they were selling them for like, $10.99, $12.99, $13.99. And the record stores, they couldn't profit. So, because, the reason the big stores could do that, they brought you in to buy other things like groceries and televisions and all that stuff where they had high profit margins. And they were putting the record stores out of business because the record stores, they couldn't underprice their CDs because that was the only way they could make money. So Record Store Day really saved our industry in 2008. A bunch of what was left of our indie record stores got together as an association and created Record Store Day. And now they say, we get exclusives from the artists, from the labels, and these exclusives can not be sold anywhere else except for are record stores. And so now this record store day is huge and it's really helping our stores out. And please go support your indie local record stores, guys, especially on Record Store Day. I know in Orlando here we have Park Avenue CDs, we have East West Records, Rock and Roll Heaven, amongst a few others. So I always make sure I get out on Record Store Day. Let's see. Apple Music launches in June 30th. It's ranked as one of the Nielsen's top 10 smartphone apps of 2015. Wow. Looking down here, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You is the top on-demand holiday song with 8 million streams for this week. That was the week of Christmas. And, I hope that gives you an idea of, hey, if I'm representing an artist, I should jump on the trends in the holidays and make sure that they put something out when there's a holiday coming up. Even if it's just a quick video that they do, something that really grabs people's attention, do a cover song of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas, and you can actually put that in the title and the description. Hey, this is a cover of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, and right there you'll get traffic. So it's a good way to get, fans. Let's see. Overall album consumption. Let's see. We have these albums include all track equivalent albums and streaming equivalent albums. So a streaming equivalent album is like 1,500. Well, you have the 10 tracks to one album and streaming equivalent album ratio of 1,500 streams to one album. So it takes a bigger artist 1,500 streams to hit, like $8, $7, $8. And that's equivalent to, what they would pull in for an album. And, they would actually, the artist would make about $1.50, $2 on an album. But I mean, like, the wholesale, right? $7, $8. Anyways, 15% positive change here. Wonderful. That's fantastic. And that's an overall album consumption. And that tells you a lot, It tells you that, hey, people are still listening to music. Talking about consumption here, though, not sales. Let's look at sales. Album sales include CDs, cassettes, vinyls, and digital albums, right? CD, down 10%, almost 11%. Digital, down almost 3%. LP vinyl, up 30%, guys. Vinyl's where it's at, right? People are consuming more and more vinyl. It's becoming the new popular thing when it comes to buying music. Down here we have physical album sales by store type. So we have the chains, independents, mass merchants, and non-traditionals. Now an independent would be like Park Avenue CDs. Non-traditional is where it's at. Non-traditional includes the internet, like you selling your CD or your vinyl directly off your website or through Amazon, right? Now remember, this includes CDs, cassettes, and vinyls. So these are physical copies. And so these are like lifestyle accounts too. So these would be like stores, like grocery stores and stuff like that. Like Whole Foods, they sell music. So this is up 6.2%. All the rest are down. So that tells you non-traditionals, everywhere from I hate that they include the internet here. But, they do. The internet, venues, like selling at your gigs and stuff, and just retail outlets that are not music oriented. So that's where it's at. Digital track sales down negative 12%. On-demand music streams. Check this out. Wow. Really up for, everything from Google Play to Xbox Music, YouTube, Slacker, Spotify Audio, Beats, all that stuff. There we go. Up. Way up. So total digital music consumption is up 26%. All right, guys. So I just wanted to kind of show you. And this is super important to know as well in distribution. So this is broken down, total consumption by format. And you can see that, all right, we have albums, we have tracks, singles, and we have streams. So if you look right here, for instance, country music, percentage of total consumption is 8.5%. Albums 11, tracks 11, streams 4. So therefore people are still like, buying and stuff, and singles and everything with country. And let's look at this one. Physical versus digital albums. You can see dance 7% versus 17% here for digital, whereas holiday and seasonal 55% physical, digital is 19%. Jazz, people still like the physical. Let's see. Oh, look, hip hop and R&B is actually tied, and rock still physical is winning out. So this is really interesting to look at from the perspective of a business person, looking for distribution and promotion and everything. You can see we have charts. I know, I just have a hard time like even getting out of this stuff. I love it. Anyways, let's get back to our class material here. That was industry news highlights. I want to go over a few things here with you. Overall, reread the course project overview because it's super long, right? It's like 8 pages, 10 pages, something like that, and follow the directions. Be super careful to make sure that you follow the directions. Your paper will be approximately 8 pages long, not including your title page, your budget, and your references. I had a couple of people not include a title page in this first assignment. Please include a title page, cover page, if you're doing APA style. And if that's required on that paper, then you have to do a title page. And you have to also include a reference page. If your product is a film or a documentary, make sure you include concepts and ideas from the Insider's Guide to Independent Film Distribution. So that really, says, hey, whatever you're putting into this paper, make sure it's coming from research. Incorporate ideas presented in the course materials. So whatever you learned in the class, whatever materials you're getting out of the books and everything in the articles, just make sure that you're incorporating those into the paper. And don't just, put what you learned, but also cite everything that you are adding in. Okay, so adding details. Make sure that you really refine your target market. I want to show you an example here. Let's go back over here to my, all right. So these are some examples I pulled up for you. Oh, that's the course project overview. But these are 2 examples from past students that we have up on the episode platform for you guys. And you can see target market here. And this is nicely broken down, right? Ages 4 to 6. They have male and female who have recently relocated and struggle with adaptation to their new surroundings. These children lived in predominantly Spanish-speaking communities. Right, this is super good. The secondary market is preschool age children who are familiar with the English language but not fluent. The tertiary market for the series would be children who are bilingual but most fluent in English. So you can see this is nicely detailed. I'm looking for, this amount of detail in your target market analysis. There's a few of you that I said, with your target market work that you already did, hey, you really need to narrow this down. And if you need help with that, do some research yourself. But if you still need help with that, just, ask me questions. I'm here for you guys. Let's go up here on this one, see how they did. These papers that we put up as examples, they're A papers, but they're not necessarily hundreds. It's very difficult to get a 100 in this class on any of, these types of assignments. The target market or audience are a couple that live in the United States. They're between 29 and 29, enjoys watching rated R. They are women who, now, this right here, nope. Target market or audience are couples that live in the United States. And they are women who like romantic comedies. Their boyfriends or husbands will watch chick flicks with them and enjoy movies. Nah, no guys. This is not great. It's okay. This is like, okay, average, right, on the target market. And definitely like C, B minus. This is not an A type of target market analysis at all to me. I need a lot more. You remember demographics, psychographics, all that information that we go over with you guys. You should understand your target market way better than this. You don't want to say couples and then say they are women. No, they're one or the other. And if you can narrow it down even more than that, like 20 to 24-year-olds or 25 to 30-year-olds, that's even a little bit better. Because you're thinking about your early adopters here. You're not thinking about your secondary, unless you're saying this is a secondary market, right? So she could have broken this down and said they are women, and went over the primary in like 2 paragraphs and then went into a third and said, hey, our secondary target market are the boyfriends or husbands of these women that actually do enjoy watching chick flicks with them. So You could have gone into a secondary market there. Anyways, okay, I'm going to stop going over target market. I know a lot of you already know this stuff. Let's go back over here. And plan A, do you really need one? Hit or miss. It depends, right? It really depends on if you need a plan A. And if you don't, explain to me why. Plan B, self-distribution. This is really what this whole plan is all about. So distribution, place and price, of course. We have for theatrical and semi-theatrical. Theatrical is a regular theatrical release. Semi-theatrical would be, okay, we're going to put out a big screening event. Like I went to one not too long ago. I go to a lot of these here in Orlando. There was one that I went to not too long. It was the Yogananda movie. It was about the big yogi that brought yoga to the West, and it was just at the movie theaters around here. There was like, I think it might have just been one of the movie theaters. It could have been multiple, but I think it was just one screening. And then they had it because it was so successful, they ended up doing it again. And that's awesome. They did it all through social media. A group of people decided to have the screening once they released the Yogananda movie, and they were able to bring it here with some crowdfunding. We all pre-bought tickets, and it went great. So something like that can really work out nicely, semi-theatrical. Brick and mortar outlets, right? That would be just like regular stores that actually are sitting there on the road, like Target, Walmart, whatever it might be. Internet websites and digital, right? Distribution. Sales projections are an important part of your distribution area. And let's go over here and take a look, right? That was plan A, right? Self-distribution and marketing, internet website. They go over the URL here. Talking about some of the promotional stuff. Brick and mortar, right here. Aggregators. Sales projections are broken down. This is a requirement, guys. Make sure you don't forget this. Make sure that you include your sales projections. So I'm going to price the DVD at $9.99. Projected units sold are 2,000. Projected revenue. All you do is multiply. Pretty simple. And with this one, they came up with 78,000 on the projected. And that's the thing, is this is a plan. That doesn't mean this is going to happen. It may be way less. It may be way more. But either way, you have to start with a plan, so that way you can benchmark yourself for the next year and the next 10 years. You have to give yourself a starting point. Retailers will have a 20% return provision. Nice. Integrated marketing communications plan. Customer relationship management. What was I looking for again? I can't remember. It's been a long day. Sales projections. That's right. I already went over that. Sales and marketing. Distribution and marketing goal. Super, super important, guys. Let's look at that. Was this the good one? Let me see. I don't think it was. I think it was this other one. These are up on the platform for you guys, so just so you know. So if you're like trying to read this right now, don't worry about it. You can actually download it. Oh, you know what I really liked about this one was this. I'll go into that in a minute. But marketing tools, marketing objective, right? The marketing objective is to recoup the $70,000 investment, build a fan base for the film, creating future revenue and building awareness for long tail sales. It's important to have a plan for every step of the process. Okay. Well, that's good enough, I guess. Promotion. Pre-release. That's where I go into it, right? Why is it doing that? Don't do that. Okay. Strategies and tactics. Now, I know I had the strategies and tactics up here for you guys. I think I might have got rid of it earlier. Darn it. Huh. Oh well. Anyways, the overall goal is like, hey, let's win, right? And then you have your strategy, which is how you're going to win by, in our example, dividing and conquering, right? Or, setting up distribution with all the retailers and promoting through social media and the newsletter. And then the tactics or the breakdown, the steps of how. So pre-release, right? You have the strategy. The strategy is to market, advertise in the local area 3 months prior to the movie premiere for a platform release party at a local art house theater. Okay. Tactics, January 5th. Run ads and submit press releases in local newspapers and blogs. January 19th. Guerrilla marketing to core target market. Okay, doing a pretty good job. I would like a little bit more detail in the tactics, but I do like that, this person actually broke things down in a good way, and that, they have the headings for pre-release and they have the months there, strategy, they have the tactics broken down. I would like a little bit more detail. Guerrilla marketing, what do you mean? What do you mean by that, right? I would like to know a little bit more about that. But this is good. Radio spot air for 1 week on a local and college radio. Street team to promote movie trailer on the website and in the community. Maybe a little more detail might help, but that's good. Book actors on local radio stations for interviews using a promo code with limit to win 2 movie tickets. All right, cool. I like the details here. I think this is really good. And I get super excited about reading you guys' release strategies, because this is really, really going to be just the backbone, the outline of what you're going to actually put into place to make this happen. Super, super important. And then you have your budget worksheet down here. And the budget worksheet is really, you got the release strategy and you got the budget. I don't even know which one's more important. They're both so important. You can't even have a plan without either of these. So here we go. Public relations, sales agent, intern for street team, web designer, distributor fees, Indiegogo, Nimbit, hard drives, billboard, combo pack. So yeah, make sure you look at some of these examples. They're fantastic. Really, really good job with these. These students did a really nice job on these. So anyways, let's see. So as you can see, strategies versus tactics. You have the goal or objectives to win the war. The strategy is divide and conquer. The tactics are CIA spies gather intelligence. Navy SEALs knock out enemy communications, and the paratroopers secure airports. So you can see this is, the details. Just make sure you read that article and references on FSO. Actually, I don't think it's in references anymore. I think it's just like in one of your assignment areas that you're supposed to read. Anyways, if you need anything, let me know. The budget. Add as much detail as you can in the budget. As you can see, the one I just showed you was like 3 pages long. It was pretty awesome. Feel free to revise the line items as needed. Don't feel like you need to use everything that's there. You're going to put stuff in that you need and take things out that you don't need. And spend as much of that $50,000 budget as you can. You really want to make sure that you're spending that money, because you have $50,000 to spend and you need, usually it's like, all right, $20,000 to produce it, $30,000 to market and promote it. Right? Everything covered in the budget must be explained somewhere in the plan. I don't want to see things in the budget that are not in the actual plan written out somewhere. Make sure there's consistency there. Everything that costs money in the plan must be accounted for in the budget. And do your research to find out how much everything costs that you're putting into the plan. There's been times where I've seen prices, and me coming from the business world and, writing business plans all the time, and always working in business. I have 2 businesses beyond just being a teacher. A lot of times will just catch it right off the bat and just say, well, what the heck is this? This price is way out there, because you can tell the person just kind of threw the number in there and it didn't even make sense. So make sure you reference where the information came from. That's going to be super important for if you ever want to get like an investor or a business partner. They're going to want to see those references. In the final draft, follow your APA guidelines. So you want that title page. Paper should now be in narrative form, and only use bullets if you're actually making a quick little list. Don't bullet everything out. Don't list everything out. Be careful and be very sparing with that. It would only be like 1 or 2 things in the whole plan, if anything. Use headers with short titles and page numbers. Use the same headings and subheadings from the outline. Don't take those out. I will mark you off for that, because part of a distribution plan, you have to have headings. Use 1-inch margins, the correct font and double space, of course. Indent first line of each paragraph, 5 spaces, and do not write in the first person, guys. Don't say I. You don't want to put that in your plan. You want it to be very formal, just like you're a company, presenting this actual distribution plan. And make sure you use, correct punctuation and grammar. And I always tell everybody, read out loud. If you feel like, I'm not sure if this works grammatically or not, read it out loud. And when you put a comma somewhere, you have a slight pause. And if it doesn't seem right, if you're pausing there and you're like, well, wait, that doesn't make sense when I'm talking, take that comma out. Or maybe it needs a comma, it needs a pause. So just make sure you read everything out loud, because sometimes I see a lot of like run-on sentences and everything, like a whole paragraph of 1 or 2 sentences, and it's like, that doesn't make sense. You need like 4 or 5 sentences in a paragraph. And format your references correctly. Use in-text citations where appropriate. It's part of APA style. Make sure that you triple check for spelling, grammar, punctuation, and like I said, read out loud for clarity. Don't just rely on spell check, because it will give you false sense of security. It happens all the time where somebody spell checks something and it's like, well, that's the wrong word. Make sure you just you look at it, you go, well, it's telling me to fix it, so let's make sure it's the right, it's fixing it right. Do not confuse it's with it's, there with there, and there, you're with you are, and who's with who's. Do not use contractions, and I noticed a lot of you were doing this in the first week. You were using contractions like didn't, couldn't, and wouldn't instead of did not, could not, and would not. That's really important in the business world. You want to write things out. You don't want to do it like you're texting someone. Apostrophes should only be used to indicate possession. For example, Steven Spielberg's film, right? So Spielberg is in this, sentence possessing the film. It's his film, right? So just be careful with stuff like that. All right, review the rubric to make sure you know what is expected of your A plus paper. I always say after you write it, read it over with the rubric like you're grading it, and give yourself a grade. Really pay attention to what the little areas of the rubric are. Simply turning in the assignment according to directions is a C paper. It's an average paper. You really need to make sure that you're putting your creativity into it. And the more details and ideas you put into this plan, the better your grade will be. So, final thing here, your peer review. In the final week, you're going to have 5 days to put together a peer review for one of your peers. You want to help a fellow student turn in a better paper. And if you just answer the questions for them and you give them, those answers, that feedback, you will get a 100. But do not wait until the end of the week, because you can only do the peer review up until Friday or Saturday. I think it's Saturday. But make sure you jump on that peer review as early as possible. You want to go ahead and get that out of the way, because that's going to be something that you can't do at the end of the week. And it's going to be harder for you to find someone to exchange with as well by the end of the week. You don't want to try to do that last minute at all, guys. Make sure you're communicating with some of your friends. Okay, so, well, I don't have anyone on board with me tonight, so let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to be getting a surgery tomorrow, so I will be out for about 2 days, Thursday and Friday, and you probably already know that Hall of Fame is going on, so make sure you get involved with Hall of Fame on streaming and watch some of the stuff that's going on, and just, relax for the next couple days, and I will be around all weekend before you have to turn anything in on Sunday. So I'm going to try to get your grading done. Hopefully I can see clearly. All right, guys. Y'all have a good rest of the week, and please let me know if you need anything. You can always text me on my phone. But like I said, I might be out of it for just Thursday and Friday. Okay. I will see you guys next time.